So I just want to talk about Pimax and the 12k supposedly coming out at the end of the year, and the recent interview MRTV did with COO Kevin Henderson. Let me start by saying I'm a fan of MRTV. I've been a fan since way back when, and actually remember when Sebastian announced the whole MRTV experience, getting the office, the studio and stuff. I was actually worried for him, thinking, is there going to be enough business here to sustain such an outlay? But seems like he's doing well, and I wish him all the success in the future. Seems like a genuine guy. I believe he's unbiased, and I've been into VR since really day one. Had most headsets, and his experiences with hardware and stuff really correlate with my own. There's been no real big discrepancies of anything he said from my actual experiences. So yeah, he seems like a decent guy to me, and his content really chimes with me. But yeah, moving on to the actual interview itself. Great interview, and well worth the watch. The whole thing is quite long. I watched it all, but there is a short video he's put out there, really covering the main key points. But if you're interested in VR, and certainly Pimax in particular, well worth a watch. Apparently there has been some hate. I guess more towards Kevin or the interview in general, which Sebastian mentioned in a podcast. That's obviously quite disgusting. Let's not have any of that. I know people have had problems with Pimax in the past, so I can imagine there's quite a lot of disgruntled customers who are pessimistic. But that doesn't mean say Kevin or Sebastian deserve any hate over this. I myself did post a comment saying Kevin didn't sound too confident in some of his answers. And I do mean that he didn't sound too confident. I'm not saying he was disingenuous or lying, whatever. It's just the way maybe he perhaps speaks. Like, say, Sebastian would ask a question, and where you would give back an affirmative answer, you or me might say, oh yes, or yeah, of course, yeah, absolutely, something like that. Kevin often replies, right. And when you just reply right, that doesn't doesn't exude confidence, but that's might just be how he talks. Fair enough. And obviously there's a lot of things he couldn't talk about, and he was quite upfront about that, things he's not allowed to talk about, things that aren't ready yet. So yeah, it seemed like really a good interview, and yeah, as I say, well worth a watch, I've got to say. Moving on to the actual 12k itself. I mean, if this really does live up to expectations, or at least the hype they're putting out, then it's going to be phenomenal. It's head and shoulders above anything else in VR. And at first, I, like everyone, I suppose, thought, no, this is too much to be true, too good to be true, all the stuff it's got. But like Kevin pointed out in the interview, all the stuff it's got, all the gizmos, none of it's really new. It's either out there or it's coming out in other headsets, so it's out there in piecemeal here and there. So they're not inventing anything really particularly new. They're just putting it together, grabbing all the bits and putting it in one. And when you think about it in those terms, you think, actually, okay, yeah, it's not like they're coming out with a completely revolutionary single item. It's loads of items that are in existence that they're putting together. And on top of that, it's going to be very expensive. They're not saying this is coming out for 1,500, 1,800. No, this is going to be 2,500, 3,000. And the whole trading thing, I'm not quite sure how they're managing that financially, but for us it's great. I'm keeping my 12kx on standby, ready to trade that in. Of course, I've got an Aero here, which I'm lucky to have, and if this is indeed is everything it promises, then of course I'll be selling the Aero, and that'd cover another big chunk. And then if this does the wireless perfectly, then I wouldn't need a Quest 2, and that'd be a little bit to help towards it. To finally get me across the line, and get a bit closer to how much this is going to cost. So I'm really looking forward to it. There's some bits I don't care about. I don't care about mouth tracking, any of that. The eye tracking, of course, that's great for foveated rendering, and their distortion fix sounds good. The standalone side of it, I don't really get that. I don't see the point of that. I mean, you're going to spend that much money on this no one's going to buy this, surely, just for the standalone side, because although the Snapdragon is clocked a lot faster and it's better than the Quest 2, think of the price difference. If you just want standalone, then you just get a Quest 2 or the Cambria whenever it comes out. You wouldn't just buy this, surely. So it's a nice little touch that you can take it away and play some, I don't know, Beat Saber, Population 1, or other standalone games. We don't even know what they're going to have, really, on standalone. Not sure I really get the point of that. The other thing is the base station, the wireless base station, by with or without the computer stuff in it. And he said, think of a Steam Deck kind of power or something like that. But again, I'm not really sure I get the point of that. Anyone who buys this is going to have a decent computer. When you're really going to be running it off this thing? When you go on holiday, you're going to take the whole headset and then this base station for a bit better standalone. It's going to be so much money. Like with that thing, I don't know, maybe $3,500 or something. You're not going to buy this just as a VR console to play slightly better standalone games. It just seems odd to me, really. And I hope when it comes out, we can really configure the package we buy. I don't want to pay for stuff I'm never going to use. For example, I would like to buy it, just the headset, the base station tracked faceplate. That's it. I don't want the camera one, for inside-out tracking. Don't need it, and I don't want controllers. So my dream is that I can sit here with it plugged in, base station tracked in my rig. Fantastic. Then when I want to play room scale wireless games, I've obviously the wireless thingy on top. All I do is unplug it. In fact, would it even need that wireless thing if it's base station track? I don't know. But yeah, sit here with it plugged in. When I want to go and play wireless games, unplug it, walk in the other room, index controllers out, away I go. Fantastic, because in the other room I've still got 2.0 base stations. I thought about taking them down and selling them, but I've always held out a little hope that in the future there will be a base station tracked wireless headset again that I can use my index controllers for, like I did with the 5 Pro wireless. But now I just use the Quest 2 in there, really. But yeah, the base stations are still up, so I've got base stations in both rooms. So if I can wander between the two and one headset for all, that's the dream. The other thing is the audio solution. Obviously no one just wants to use the speakers in the strap. That's a bit nonsense. But it's going to have like G2 or index speakers, which is no good for me because I've got a motion seat, which is noisy as heck. So the 8K X comes with, I've got the KD-Mass, whatever, that are over-ear headphones, or it's essentially, I think, the speakers with a plastic cup on them with a bit of foam, whatever. I hope there's something like that. It doesn't seem like they've announced it or showed it, but I hope there's something like that. It's just annoying with the Aero that I've got to put a headset on. That is a bit of a faff, but at least that does completely cut out any noise and whatnot of the motion rig. So it does all sound awesome, and I hope it can do. Well, it sounds like it's pretty much there for what I want, and some of the stuff they're still working on isn't quite ready yet. Some of the wireless stuff, obviously, which I do want, but I don't. The whole console-y side of it, obviously not. I'm not interested in that. And if you are, I'd love to know why. Drop a comment, tell me why you're interested in it and how you would use it, because I'm genuinely wondering, is there a market for that side of it, to be honest with you. But yeah, this is a bit of a waffle video, really, bit of a pointless video. If you're still here, thank you very much. I'm not sure really what my plan was here, just going on a bit of a rant, bit of a waffle. And they say it's out Q4 2022. Do we believe that? Not really. Let's expect a delay. Q1, Q2 2023. That's fair enough. Everything's delayed these days, isn't it? And this kind of thing, especially with problems in getting hold of chips and whatnot. So expect that whenever. But if it just comes out, and there we are talking about the speaker module. It's cool that it uses the Snapdragon 4 some just for the tracking and for the audio and stuff. So it's cool. Even though I'm not interested in standalone, it sounds awesome anyway that it's got the Snapdragon in it to take away some of the computing needed away from your PC and just do it natively on board. That's pretty cool. Swappable rear battery. That's pretty awesome. Now, one thing that isn't clear as well, they said, is the it needs the battery in when you're plugged in, but it's not 100% clear if it's going to charge the battery while it's plugged in. I mean, surely it's got to, because if the battery, if you're sitting here doing a long race in VR with the battery draining, even though it's plugged in, and when the battery dies, you're knackered. That can't be right. Surely it's going to have to charge it while it's plugged in. That would boggle the mind if that was the one thing they left out that would just make it a non-starter for me, really. Right, anyway, anything else I want to mention? Probably I'll think about something a bit later on, but yeah, just for me, it was a great interview. The whole thing about the 12k is really interesting. I'm looking forward to it and seeing what really comes out. So, any thoughts on it, please drop them below. I really do want to hear what people's thoughts are on this, especially the standalone and the base station side of it. Maybe there's something I'm missing there. But yeah, if you're still here, I don't know what you're doing here, but thank you very much. Otherwise, really, that will do it for now, and I will catch you later. Cheers.